This is it. This is, how's my hair? Jesus, little messy. Got COVID hair. It's a thing. It's a thing. I mean, if you're out here getting your hair cut by a professional, then you're breaking the law, motherfucker. But at least if you're in Australia, I know everyone in America is doing their thing. I checked the stats. I checked the stats yesterday. You guys are fucked. I shouldn't be laughing. It's serious. No, we're on our way. We're on our way to catching up. Don't worry. We may be with you soon. I know there's other people in the world. I know there's other people in the world out there. But I did actually check my YouTube stats, and it said my top 2 geographical locations that watch my videos are, US is actually in the lead. I can't remember the numbers. I think it was like 33% or something. And then Australia was behind in the teens, believe it or not. And then it just instead of having other countries, it just had other with like 66%. So I'm assuming really Australia and America are like the only countries that I need to be addressing right now. And welcome other as well if you're from anywhere else. Anyway, this is the MattyAP Podcast. We're back, baby. We're back on YouTube. No live shit. None of this live shit that I was doing for a while there. Now, if you're like, back, what do you mean, Matt? I've been following for a whole 5 months. What do you mean back? I've never seen a podcast. Well, scroll down. Scroll down on the videos. You'll see it. It exists. There was how many episodes? There was a few. I did a few. This will be the first ever. Now you're probably like, Matt, who's the guest? This will be the first ever one I've done with no guest. This is all me, baby. It's all me. So no guests today. Maybe in the future we'll bring some guests back. Maybe in the future. But for now, it's just me. Talking about things I like, talking about the things I've seen, talking about things I've maybe heard. Scandalous. So hopefully you guys enjoy it. I feel like this podcast is going to be, I'm just clicking away trying to find how many episodes we've done. Probably should have sussed it out before I start. I think it was like 28 or something. I'll find them. But this podcast will be good for anyone who likes to work. Any working people out there? Anyone like to work? Look, it says 21 episodes here. I feel like maybe we did more. It says 21. I thought we did more. Okay, unofficially episode 22 of the MattyAP Podcast. No branding, no music, nothing. This is me just sitting down, just getting it done. Just in here, just making it happen. Because Lord knows I haven't been doing that. Let me put my headset on. Let me put the headset on so I can hear myself, make sure I sound okay. I sound pretty all right. New mic, by the way. A little bit of the reason, I guess, that I'm kicking this off. I told myself when I got my dream mic, being the Shure SM7B, anyone who watched my previous video would know this is the new mic. Say hello. Anyone that watched my previous video would know this is the new mic. And I said when I got my new mic, and I've been talking about getting this mic for a long time, and I finally got it. I had said that I would start my podcast back up again. And now people probably thought, Matt, you're full of shit. And look, I don't blame them. I have not given anyone who watches or follows anything I do any reason to believe me when I say I'm going to do something because Lord knows I've lied a lot. I've said I'm going to do a lot of things and I tend to not do them. So this is me doing it. Now, look, I did have a name for the podcast. I was going to name it something else. I was going to start fresh. No MattyAP Podcast this time. No. Unfortunately, the name was taken. How long have I had that name in my head for? I'll say maybe half a year. Been thinking about using this particular name that I haven't said yet. And when did I decide to check if it was available for a podcast name or if it's taken? Well, I say maybe about half an hour before I started doing this. Because, I like to leave things to the last minute. Always have, always will. Been doing it since 1987. Funny about that. I am turning 34. I'm turning 34. I know, thank you. Happy birthdays. Thank you. I can feel them coming through the power of the internet there. You guys, I mean, I'm recording this well before you're seeing it. Well, no, only a day before. So we'll go out tomorrow. Anyway, all the people in the future sending those birthday vibes back to me, I'm sure. Thank you for the birthday vibes. It's the 11th of September, my birthday date. Okay, all right. Okay. All right, settle down. That's my birthday. I can't help it. But that's only like, what, for 6 days away? I'm not a big one to celebrate my birthday. I like a nice chilled birthday. I do. I'm getting older. As I'm getting older, I like a nice, relaxing, chilled birthday. I guess I'm a little bit of a grump. I don't like celebrating it too much. Not because I'm like fearing the void and I'm like scared that every time I celebrate it, you know, as you get older, you kind of like, I don't want to celebrate it anymore because I'm getting older. That's not fun. It was fun when I was young and I'm like becoming more independent, more mature. But now, maybe I'd celebrate if I was going backwards. But that's not going to happen. That's not the reason I don't like to celebrate. I think I'm just lazy. I sometimes don't like celebrating other people's birthdays. I'm a piece of shit. No, but honestly, I feel like maybe I'm like at that age. I feel like you're not supposed to get to the age where you don't want to be a bother. You know how old people say, I don't want to be a bother. I don't want to be a bother. I feel like I'm already there at like the tender age of 34. Almost 34. I feel like I'm almost already there. Getting back though to the reason I'm talking about my birthday. One, because it's coming up. Get me something good. Maybe a subscription to my Twitch channel. You can use your Prime. It's free if you've got Twitch Prime. The reason I brought it up is because I had a real embarrassing fuck up moment with my date of birth the other day. I haven't gotten my date of birth wrong when I've been talking. When someone asks you your date of birth, you pretty much can go, yeah, this is my date of birth. You know, I know mine, 11th of September, 1987. Stumbled over a bit, but we got there. Or you could say, you know, if you're typing it out, you could be like the 11th of the 9th, 1987. Yeah, nailed it. I did nail it. Now, the story here is that I got my first vaccination shot. I got Pfizer. Where's my Pfizer gang at? Represent, no blood clots for us. I got Pfizer. Look, I didn't actually care too much what I got. I was kind of fine to get whatever, but Tay wanted to get Pfizer because, as you guys know, she's pregnant, and her doctor told her to get Pfizer. So we're out here, you know, saying better get that Pfizer. I didn't really mind, but she wanted the Pfizer, so she booked me in as well. That's right, she booked me in because I'm helpless, and she booked me in for the Pfizer as well. Problem was, originally she booked me in at a different time. I don't know. There was a complication. She booked me in at a separate time. By separate time, I mean a week after hers. So we actually drove to a place that was like 40 minutes away from where we live to get this vaccination shot when we really could have been a little patient and gotten it done. Anyway, Tay likes to get things done quick. She doesn't like to waste time. She's not a fuck around kind of girl. She likes to get it done. So she booked us in for this place that was 40 minutes away. So I drove her there when she got hers, and then a week later we drove there together, and she waited around while I got mine in the car. She was in the car waiting. I wasn't getting mine done in the car. We don't do that here. Maybe we do. I don't think we do. We do testing in the car. Actually, a true story. Tay's actually out getting tested right now. She doesn't potentially have COVID. Actually, I'd be incredibly amazed if she does, because we haven't gone anywhere. But she was supposed to go to the hospital tomorrow. I'm already tangenting, dude. This podcast is already tangent city. We are going to be covering some topics tonight. This morning, you guys are going to have this in the morning. I'm saying tonight, you're going to be like, wait, man, it's morning. Tay's currently going. I'm getting back to the story, dude. I'm going to get back to my story about the date of birth. Fuck up, I swear. But Tay's going to go get a test right now because she was supposed to have a some sort of checkup, being pregnant, and whatnot, and she was supposed to get a test, and the midwife who's following Tay's journey, she's I guess the one that's going to be, you know, tracking everything and whatnot. She's already kind of screwed up a few times. With some information and some details, and right before I went live, Tay wasn't happy. I don't know. She wasn't happy. She was a unhappy camper. The camping wasn't fun. The bonfire wasn't lit. The marshmallows hadn't been served. Anyway, I don't know what I'm talking about. Camping. She wasn't a happy camper. And that is because her midwife, the day before she was... This is some adult shit. Not adult is an X-rated, just like... I should say grown-up shit. Adult shit always makes shit sound sexual. You ever notice that? I always feel weird saying it's adult stuff, but then it sounds naughty. You gotta say grown-up stuff. Then no one says like with a pornographic film, that's a grown-up porno. They say adult. Well, then again, if it's not adult, anyway. If it's not, then there's some problems. FBI, open up. Getting back on track. Anyway, her midwife. Take contact with her midwife. Just before I started, just to say, hey, is everything good? You know, any you know, are we still good for tomorrow? The meetup, to go over a few things. And the midwife was like, yeah, did you get your I think she said, oh, I meant to tell you you were meant to get a COVID test. She didn't tell her that until the day before, and I don't know. So Tay's out getting a COVID test in hopes that, I don't know, dude, but that was a major goddamn F up on the midwife's part. Anyway, little ramble there about the midwife not doing a goddamn job. And if you ever watched this, midwife, you made my wife really upset. Really annoyed. You made her an unhappy camper, and I'm not gonna do anything about it because our child life is in your hands. All right, the story about my freaking Jesus Christ. How long are we going for? Already 11 minutes. This is supposed to be a half an hour podcast. This might go a little longer. Okay, the story about how I fucked up though. We went and I got my vaxx. It was time for me. My turn. Get the vaxx. And I went up to the so anyway, first of all, I went into, okay, let me run you through it. If anyone hasn't been vaxxed up, I'm practically a pro now. Still need to get my second one, but I got the first one. And boy, do I feel invincible right now. I've been licking everything. I went in right, and after I had to check in and all that stuff. You know, you check in. I don't know if do you guys check in around the world? I won't hear back unless you write in the comments of this YouTube video. Do you guys have to check in around the world? Do you guys have that? I'm assuming you do. The QR codes, we have that here, at least in New South Wales, where I imagine it's everywhere, right? You have to check in, and then the app, you say, so that way it kind of tracks where you've been. Which is good, you know, so they can, if someone gets COVID, they can kind of trace where they've been, and although everyone has it now, so I feel like tracing that's kind of like, well, given it's just gonna, anyway. I went in and I was like, I was told, yeah, go on in. Like I went through, you know, there was not many people waiting in this queue thing, and I went up to the front of this queue, this line that they had, and then the guy was like, yeah, head on in. He was an army guy. They had army guys there, very intimidating. And he's like, head on in. So I headed on in. There was a guy. He looked like a scientist. He looked like he knew his shit about stuff. He was wearing a mask, couldn't fully see all of his face, but maybe his mouth would have been telling a different story. Maybe his mouth looked like an artist's mouth. But his eyes and his hair and just the sheer stature, he had a scientist look, but a confidence. Not those geeky scientists, like the cool, knowledgeable scientists. Like he had one of those looks, like he could have been rich. And he actually was standing on one of these little dots on the ground they had marked out, and said, can you stand over here, please? And I was like, yes, sir. I trust you with my life. You look like a person I could trust. And I stood there, and then he got stuck into it. There's already like maybe 15 to 20 people in the room, standing on their own little dots in the room. We were separated. The whole experience was very, it was weird. It felt like I haven't been out of the house much, and I haven't experienced much in the way of COVID because I stay inside a lot. You know, lucky being an online entertainer at the moment, I guess, is my main profession, which is pretty hilarious. Anyway, so this story's going. This is to get to the point where I fucked up about my date of birth. But anyway, listen up. So anyway, so this guy starts telling us about what to expect from the jab, as they're calling it here in Australia. Again, the jab, which doesn't sound intimidating at all. I think they're saying that to make it sound more like, hey man, this is a jab, bro. Like they're trying to make it sound like it ain't shit, you know? Just getting the jab, huh? Because getting vaccinated, you know, there's all these people like, vaccine, huh? You know, I'm not an anti-vaxxer at all, but they're out there. I don't know. Maybe they're trying to. Maybe vax has too much of a weird stigma. You can hear my dog barking. So they're saying a lot of them, you know, getting the jab is what they're calling it, which I think sounds way more fucked up. To be honest, you don't want to get jabbed by anyone. That never sounds good. But for some reason, that's what they're calling it, and they're rolling with that. I mean, they don't say it in pamphlets and stuff. When you get like the actual documentation of like, they don't say like your jab documentation. They say vaccination, but I don't know, on ads and shit, they're like, you got the jab. Anyway, so the guy was starting to explain about the jab, and this man of Asian descent walked into the room from where I had come in from, and the scientist guy, the handsome scientist, did I say he was handsome? He was like, excuse me, sir, can you just wait there? Excuse me. But the guy didn't, I guess, I don't know if he didn't understand him or just didn't give a fuck, but he just kept walking in. So the guy was like, hey, stop. Like, it was very, it was really awkward. And I have a little bit of social anxiety at times. Who doesn't? I don't like confrontation out in the wild, especially when I'm in a place where I don't feel comfortable and I'm by myself. I think that's a lot of people though. You don't like to feel like an idiot. And that's not, I don't know if that's a social anxiety thing. I don't know if anyone wants to feel like an idiot in public. I think that's just kind of human nature. But this guy got you know, and he was like, oh, you know, awkward, and he got turned back, and then another woman straight away tried to walk in. And while he was trying to explain to us about what's going to happen with this jab, I don't know, man, maybe 4 people tried to walk in, and he told them all off and told them to get out. Felt like when you were at school and someone walked into the wrong class. It's like, you supposed to be here? It was kind of like a bit of a, like, it was weird. And I thought, man, I just avoided that. I was the last person to be let in there. And so obviously the army guy was still letting him in. But then they hadn't communicated because the scientist guy was telling him to get out. It was very awkward. But I was like, thank God that wasn't me. Because I reckon that would have really... I was already a little nervous about the job. I don't like needles. I don't like them. Don't trust them. I mean, I do trust them. It sounds like I'm an anti-vaxxer. I just don't... They you know... I don't know. I used to work doing landscape maintenance. A lot of you guys will know. And I would work in... I'm going to get back to the jab story, I swear. I'd work in industrial areas. And it's a known fact between myself, when I tell myself this, most people wouldn't know this, that I guess industrial areas, sometimes like over the weekends, people kind of go into those areas to you know, do some unsavory acts, maybe perhaps. Well, here's a few things I've seen, right? After like a weekend coming back to work when I used to do landscape maintenance, you know, I'd find like alcohol bottles of empty alcohol. I'd find those around the place in the gardens because, you know, I'd have to go through, clean up the gardens from you know, the weekend. I'd find homemade bongs. I'd find a lot of those. You know, the ones made out of Gatorade bottles and they have the little bit of hose in them. Yeah, I'd find homemade bongs. You know, I'd find condoms. Yeah, I'd find condoms. Yeah, they look like they had been used. They definitely didn't look fresh. I wasn't about to take them home and be like, free condoms. Let's just say that much. They definitely were used. They were definitely used. They had either been in someone or over someone. That's all I'm saying. Maybe both. And I also sometimes found... well, how do I put this without turning people off? Because if someone's watching this one... I also found... let's say toilet paper. Used. And the things that would come... Anyway, you get the idea. People be out there shitting. And then the last thing I'd find is needles. I would find needles. Yeah, I'd find needles. And something about it, like I hated finding any of those other things, but when I came across needles, used needles, exposed needles, I would, my body would tingle. Like I'd get these freaking tingles, man. My whole body would just seize up. Like I'd see it and I go, like I just, and probably the worst situation. There was one site that we worked at that was notorious for it, man. Oh, notorious for needles being everywhere. I remember I was working because my dad owned the business. My dad was there, and I think my good friend Tim was there. Good mate Tim. He was working with me at the time. So it was the 3 of us, and we were going through and we're hedging up all the bushes. that was a lot of fun. We used to hedge the bushes. And my dad was going around with the hedge, the motorized, the fueled hedge trimming, doing all that shit. And me and Tim, being the lackeys, would come up behind him with the sounds weird, but with the rakes, be raking up all the loose trimmings. We'd be raking them up, and then, I think I think in this particular day, right, Tim was raking them up. Tim was raking up all the things, and he was raking them into piles. And then my job on the day was I was coming up behind with the bucket. I have a big old black bucket, and I'd scoop the trimmings, or I'd pick them up. I'd kind of with my big man hands. I'd scoop up the piles of trimmings, and I'd put them in the bucket, and I'd take them to the big bin, and I'd tip them in. And I was going about my day doing that thing. And Tim had been making these piles, and I got to one pile in particular, and I remember I scooped it up with my big man hands, scooped them up, and as I was holding this pile of offcuts or trimmings from the hedges, I can't remember which hand it was, to be honest. I can't remember. True story, though. It was many years ago. Let's just say it was my left hand. I can't remember. I looked at one of my hands, and I shit you not, there was a needle straight through my fingers, sticking out from the pile. It had been in the pile, raked up, and the needle was sticking through the gap in between my fingers. And I remember that moment of feeling like my whole body just tingle, like go numb, like a feeling of like it was horrible. Yeah, I don't like needles. I don't like needles, and I think that actually freaked me out more. Like, I think from that moment, I think I was actually more terrified of needles. I'm not scared of them to the point where I feel like I'm going to pass out, but then again, maybe that's what that tingling is. Maybe I'm on the cusp of fainting and I just never have. Getting blood drawn is worse. Like, I can weirdly enough, I can handle people shooting things into me, but taking things out of me, that's a whole other ball game. So anyway, I was, all these people got rejected from walking in this room where we were being briefed on our COVID vaccination, and then anyway, so we had to go into the room where there was a whole bunch of booths where they take your information. There was like a counter, and there was like a whole bunch of people ready to take your details. So you had to have your Medicare card, and you had to have your license or a form of identification. So I went up to one of the available booths. All the people in the room, they went to separate people. I went to an available booth with someone. Luckily, the guy was super friendly because I made a complete arse out of myself. So first of all, he's like, "Hey, I'm gonna need your Medicare card and your license." I was like, "Rightio." So I've got this type of wallet. Well, it just only holds cards and maybe a couple of notes, but can't put coins in. It's not like a conventional wallet. It's really just a card holder. And I had my license, my Medicare card, in the same slot. There was 3 different slots of this wallet, 3 different kind of card compartments, and I had 3 cards jammed into one of the slots in the middle. And it had my Medicare card, my license, and they had my EB Games card. EB Games is like GameStop in America. It's like it's video games. And I've got that tier 4 loyalty card, or is it tier 3? I don't know. It's silver. I think it's probably tier 3. And anyway, so I grabbed the 3 cards and I sift through and get the 2 the Medicare card and the license. And then I put them up in this little tray, because you can't just hand it to the people because you could have COVID. So they're being very safe. You got to put in this little tray where they can just see them, but you can't they don't take it from you. So I put the 2 cards in the tray, and then they kind of looked at me weird, and I looked at what I put in the tray, and of course I put my EB Games card in the tray. Somehow I got him a little switched up. So already looking like a dickhead. Already looking like a right old dickhead. So I'm like, I am so sorry. That is not the right card. So I take my EB Games card out, of course, and I grab the Medicare card, which is completely different color. It's green, and I put it in the tray. And he's like, righto. And then he asked me what my name is, I believe, to which I said my name. And they said, "What's your date of birth?" And I said confidently, 11th of September, 1989. Look, I didn't fuck it up that much. It was only 2 years difference. And he actually said to me, don't you mean 87? And I went, did I say 89? Yeah, no, I meant 87. It's almost like he thought I was trying to get away with making myself be a little younger, like I was in denial. Only 2 years younger, I can get away with that. I could probably pull off, what's that? 32? I could probably pull off 32. He probably thought I was trying to pull a fast one on him. He probably thought I was trying to, have him go, only 32? But I don't know. I think I was putting my EB Games card away, and I think I got a little I think I was a little flustered from looking like a bit of a dickhead, to be honest, from the EB Games card situation, and that's the wrong birth date. I don't know where 89 came from, but he was very lovely about it. He didn't flick me too much shit. He said, "You're an idiot," but no, okay, he didn't even say that. But anyway, it was all very friendly. And then he's like, "All right, we'll head on over to the booths where you get your shot." I was like, righto. So I walked over to this line where you had to wait to go to these little booths, and had to stand 1.5 meters apart, as you do. And of course, I get to the part where they point me into which booth I need to go in, and there's booths everywhere, man. And they've got these little disposable curtains. I didn't even know they made disposable curtains, but apparently that's the thing. They make disposable curtains. Throw them shits right out. Mine had like a thing where you could write the curtains had a thing where you could write the date of when they were installed, so that you knew kind of roughly when to throw them out. Mine didn't have a date on it. They didn't bother. So I could have had a very old. They could have been using those for years. It looked fresh though. It was in the whole thing was in like a basketball court. It was at an aquatic center, but weirdly enough, we're in a basketball court. It didn't look like a basketball court. The only reason I knew that is because there was like basketball hoops that had been like they were the ones that hang from the ceiling. Like, so we're in like a stadium, and they were like kind of pushed up a little bit, but the ground was carpeted. They had actually carpeted the floor, I guess, as to not scratch the surface of the court. So I'm seeing this like little booth, man, and it's got these at the top, like we're in this weird warehouse stadium thing. It's got these bright lights shining down, and in this moment I felt like I was in some sort of weird alternate universe reality. It felt weird. Like, I've lived on this planet, as you guys would know, for 32 years. Did I say 39? 30, almost 34 years. I've never experienced a pandemic in my life. Never experienced it, thank goodness. Well, I have now. And it was just, it's so weird. I think a lot of you guys out there have kind of probably been moving around, doing life as you would. Me, not so much. I haven't really gone out much, man. I haven't gone and done much. The most I do is walk around the local lake. But I haven't had to go get a test because I haven't really gone anywhere. I haven't, that was my first vaccine. I just haven't really gone anywhere. So I guess I haven't really overly experienced the world being so different. And that was the first moment that it hit me that this is weird. Like, this is actually like a thing, which I already knew it was a thing. People are going to be like, Matt, it's been a thing for like almost 2 years. I know. But it just kind of was, it was weird. It was weird. It felt like I was in a movie, and not a good one though. I feel like I should have been in a black and white photo, to be honest. I felt like I felt like if someone took, I don't know, man, like this is going to be, it felt like we were making history, but not a good kind of history. Anyway, I got my jab. But the lady came up to me, and she said, she asked me a whole bunch of health questions. Like, do you have any heart conditions? And I was like, oh, I don't know, man. I don't think so. I have a bit of a phobia of heart attacks, because them shits kind of come out of nowhere. And I'm getting older, and I ate a lot of chocolate. But she asked me about these things, and I was already a bit kind of like, oh man, I'm thinking about how this juice that she's going to pump into me is going to go into like my bloodstream and in my heart, and just how weird that is, foreign juice inside of me. But I was excited for my how do you fucking say that? Invincibility. Juice. To be coursing through my veins. And then she said to me right before she stuck it in me, just letting you know as well, like if you feel any weird pains in your chest or anything like that, or out of breath or any of that shit, after you get the thing, you know, seek medical advice, because it's very common in young males. She said young, by the way, young males around your age. And of course, that's right before she gave it to me, and I was like, "Cool, man, thanks." So, didn't feel any discomfort. I actually didn't even get any. I didn't feel any of the symptoms that were potentially going to happen from the vaccine. To be honest, I didn't feel any weirdness. I heard people get like flu-like symptoms or headaches. I got none of that, which I was very. I felt a little bit of pride, to be honest. Like, yeah, this guy, you know, could handle the vax, handle the jab, flawless, 100% success rate. Didn't get sick, didn't feel nothing. But then I was like, did it even work? Am I even, you know, maybe I shouldn't have licked all those park benches. So I don't know. We'll find out. But I got to go get my second one in a couple of weeks. You got to wait at least 3 weeks. So I booked it in when I was there. I got a chocolate. I got a chocolate and a bowl of water, which is very lovely of them. You know, I got some juice chucked in me, and I got some vax juice, and I got a chocolate and some water. So that was fun. So that was a lot of fun. So that was my main big thing during the week. I'm pretty sure there's a big thing that happened during the week. You know, it's kind of crazy that this has already been a freaking half an hour, and I told one story. That's very much me. It's very much me. I did write down a couple of things. On my telephone. About, you know, what I wanted to talk about. And funny enough, I did title it Underthinking Podcast, which, getting back to it, was the name I was going to go if that was taken. Yeah, I was thinking about naming it the Underthinking Podcast. You know why? Oh, the movie recording stopped. Hold on. I've just realized that my has been stopped automatically. The maximum record limit. Is that a thing? Have I never recorded on this camera for... All right. Luckily, I'm double recording on my OBS here. Do a little clap. That's how you know you're already going way over time. Is your camera? This is pushing this camera to the limits. I've never recorded apparently for longer than the time with it, which is kind of funny. Yeah, I was going to call it Underthinking Podcast, but I'm sticking with the MattyAP Podcast name because. God, I wanted Underthinking because I tend to overthink this shit a little bit too much. I tend to think, what if it's not good enough? You know, what if it sucks? I mean, hey, inevitable at this point. But should that stop you from making the things you want to make? Nah, it shouldn't. So look, this is me rambling, and I've only gone one story out. I mean, the story was filled with many mini sub stories, so I feel like that's kind of a thing. Maybe next week I won't ramble too much about the single story. If you made it this far, congrats. But yeah, dude, I checked way too late. I was right up until I went live, made this podcast. It was going to be the Underthinking Podcast to kind of be like, I'm not going to overthink it anymore. But I searched it up, and it's, I think it was an Indonesian podcast. An Indonesian podcast beat me to it. Yeah, I couldn't even understand what the text on I didn't even know what the podcast was about because I couldn't read the descriptions of each episode. They had 8 episodes. That you know, I mean, the MattyAP podcast got it's got what, 21 apparently. 22nd episode is this one. But I kind of like the fact that we are continuing the MattyAP podcast. I kind of like that. You know, I put a bit of work in back in the day. Back before when we were doing the MattyAP podcast, we were doing an episode. It only ran for a month, but we did it as a 5-day-a-week thing. I did one every day, every weekday, and had a guest on every day. So it was a lot of work. And I think I overdid it, as I do with a lot of things. And that's what I'm learning about myself. I think I've learnt that I've got to really do things in moderation. I think that's good for everyone to know. I think everyone should kind of do things in moderation. I think you know, burnout is real, man. Burnout is very real, and I've been burnt out many times. I'm like a sensitive wick, and my candle just eventually goes out, man. No candle stays lit forever. That sounds more like a death reference, but I'm talking about just creativity and just energy. But But when I did this podcast, I was telling myself, it's like everything. I say, when I go to make something or go to do something in life, I say, it's got to be every day or not at all. It's like working out every day or not at all, you know? Cutting out bad food every day or not at all. But it's same with content creation. It's like back in the day, I'd say streaming. I'd say, you know, if I'm going to stream on twitch.tv/MattyAP, make sure you follow, that I've got to do it every day or not at all. And it just burns me out, man. I'd said that about the podcast, every day or not at all. Well, I was doing my vlogs last year, every day or not at all. And I've realized that that's a shit way to think. That's a terrible way to think. What was I thinking? I wasn't thinking. So I've decided that I'm going to be a little bit more gentle with myself. Stop raw dogging myself too much. So I figure I'm going to just do this podcast once a week. If I can get a guest on eventually, cool, man. If not, nah, it's all good. It'll just be us, just me and you, viewers. Might only be one viewer. But same with my stream. You know, my stream I've cut down to 2 days a week. You know, I tried even doing 3 days a week for a minute. I tried adding a Sunday. Can you believe it? 3 days. You're a fool, Matt. What were you thinking? So I tried doing 3 days. It just was it was too much. And you know, I'm trying to do just one other YouTube video a week, which you know, that's the goal. That's the goal. And big thank you actually for everyone that actually checked it out, the most recent one. I put a lot of effort into that one. I put a lot of effort in. I think a lot of people expected it to be like a slight bit more effort, but it was really nice that you guys that did comment on the video and sent me a message and whatnot. Definitely, your response showed me that you did care. Funny, actually. Funny. I mean, the stats are actually been quite all right. They're not crazy. I mean, I'm not pulling millions of views, but it, you know, it's creeping up on that 100 views, which you know, for some people would be like, that's hilarious. 100 views, you know, that's easy clap for most people. But for me, you know, nah. For me, getting 100 views is a win. So I'm very excited to hopefully start getting maybe 200 views one day on videos. We'll see. But thank you everyone that checked it out. It was funny. I got a comment on that video only, man, like it'd been up for maybe 8 minutes, not if that. And I got a comment for someone who wasn't from my community. They're called Kicked Tripod, I believe they're called. Go check them out on YouTube. Seems lovely. And they commented saying something like, "Hey man, love the video." It was a really positive one, and it didn't feel like it was a bot. It felt like it was pretty legit. And I was like, "Hey, thanks so much." And they said they subscribed, and that's always lovely, dude. And I was like, "Wow, a subscriber on this video, and it's only been up for 8 minutes. This is going to get thousands of views." That was a lie. Didn't get thousands of views, but that's all right. Maybe still got time. So I went and checked out their channel, and I subscribed because I was like, "Hey man, this guy seems like he's got cool stuff." They talk about audio a bit. Streaming audio and stuff. I'm like, I could learn a few things or two about that. So I had a little poke around. I know it's all live. I'm like, oh, they must have just gone live after they commented on my video. And then I clicked on the live, and it said they've been live for like over an hour. And I was like, they've been live for and it hit me, dude. They watched my video on their stream. And at first I was a little bit nervous, but I was like, I've never seen someone's reaction other than Taze firsthand at watching one of my YouTube videos. You don't get that luxury. That's a disappointing part about uploading videos on YouTube. You don't get to see your audience's true reaction to it. Did they laugh? Did they cry? Were they disgusted? You don't get that facial recognition. You know, you just hear the comments, the text comments, or not at all. Or you might get a thumb up or a thumb down, but that's about it. It's very hard to gauge. You might maybe look at analytics, but that's not a human way of looking at it. That's just an analytical way. That, you know, that doesn't tell you everything, you know. And so I was very excited. I was like, oh my God, maybe this guy, maybe he reacted to it. So I sifted through his VOD that, you know, it wasn't done yet, but I was sifting through and I found it. He was watching my video. So I went to the start and I went back a little bit too far, and he was watching a video before mine, and he was ripping this guy apart. Ripping this guy's video that he was watching before mine apart. So this guy's like an audio guy, right? He knows his shit about audio. The guy's mic sounded great. And he was watching videos about either the Shure SM7B or the Go XLR, which is what my video is essentially about, both of these. And he was watching this video before mine, and he's just ripping into this dude about how bad his mic sounds, because this guy's making this video about, how to get the best out of your mic and this I have to admit, this guy's mic didn't sound very good. The guy who was watching the video before mine didn't sound very good. So I granted, ripping into him was fair, but I was like, Jesus, what's he going to say about me now? Maybe he didn't like the video, but then I thought, but he liked it and he subscribed and he commented. So I mean, it can't be a negative thing. I started watching it, and dude, it was really lovely. It was a real, dare I say, wholesome experience. He watched the video, and I was watching him watch the video, and I was like, this is so weird. I'm watching him watch my video, and I don't ever see that. And he was laughing. He was straight up like proper laughing at the intro, and I felt so good. It was a great feeling to see that my the intro was supposed to be bring some comedic value, just bring some smiles to your little sad faces, Makes it sound like you're sad. Well, I did say sad face, but you know what I mean. Bring a big old smile to your doll. But he was laughing, and he really and not far into the video, I think it was just after the Blues Clues part, he's like, I'm gonna subscribe, and I'm gonna leave a comment. And he's like, I'm gonna like and subscribe straight away, and that made me feel really good. So that was a great positive start to that video. And anyone that's done the same, I know I can't see your faces. Hey, you know what? Never be afraid to record yourself watching it, man. Do a live reaction. I'd be very keen to see what you guys look like. But then at the same time, you're going to expect that I'm going to see. You're expecting that I'm going to watch it. This guy, I don't think he expected that I was going to see that he watched it. I mean, maybe he did. I don't know. But it was I'd always want to be a fly on your wall. Maybe even watching this podcast. It'd be a great way to gauge how it landed. How it landed. But yeah, man, that was a real positive experience. I've never seen someone. I've only ever watched Tay watch my videos. You know what I mean? And she laughs, but I'm like, she's almost like got mum status now. You know what I mean? Like I love her response to my videos. I think it's great, and I want her to like them. If she doesn't like them, I'm like, whoop, scrap it. But she'll laugh at them. I'm like, yeah, you kind of have to. You're my wife, You kind of have to laugh at them, Just like your mum kind of has to say that you're a handsome little devil before you go to school, to make you feel better about all the bullying. It's like when the people are not from your community and not from your family, and that's what you want to really know. How do they like it? People that don't know who you are yet, like that's where you want to be a fly on the wall, I'd be curious if you guys have ever had that. Have you ever made something that's kind of gotten out there? I mean, have you ever had like a viral hit and you've seen people react to it? I mean, I'm sure some maybe listeners had something. I'd be very curious if you ever want to let me know. Have you ever had some sort of experience where you didn't think anyone was going to really see it other than your close friends and family, and then it's become like this thing that lots of people have seen and you can see their reaction? I don't know. It'd be interesting. Maybe I'll get to that point one day where I have a few more people reacting to my shit, and I'm like, well, that's what they think. It's like those people that go viral. They'll do like a small. The biggest example is streamers. Streamers that think that they're only streaming to their very small communities of like a couple of people, but then someone clips something. It's happened. I mean, R.I.P. Mr. Deadmoth, I mean, that wasn't really like a thing he said, though. That was more a thing he did. Anyway, we're not getting into that. But there's been streamers that have like said their opinions on things, thinking like, I'm just talking to my community of 5 people. It's very easy to think, hey, I've only got like a few people in here. It's just my friends. I'm all G, I'm just saying it how it is. And then they say it, and then one person in there was just kind of drifting around, didn't know who they were, and they're like, this guy said some shit. And they clip it, they put it up on Reddit or something, and then it goes viral, and then everyone has their opinion on this thing. Imagine, man, how that must feel to be like, I was just talking in an intimate setting, but man, it's one of those things, no matter what you say, like, man, if you're saying shit when you're streaming, you're crazy. I mean, you got to be saying shit, but I mean shit, you know what I mean? Like shit that's going to get you in trouble. Ladies and gentlemen, we just got a comment on my my previous YouTube video. I wouldn't usually do this, but I'm going to actually open it and have a read. Little live reaction myself to a comment by Josh Osterberg on my previous video. He said, I haven't proofread this. This is literally just hot off the press. He says, I freaking loved this video. Crying, laughing emoji. It's a good start. He says, the little mini graphics and sound made it even more clever and funny. Dang, went to hell and back with that mic. Adios, Blue. Adios. That was beautiful. I'm going to give that a heart and a thumb. And you too could be the recipient of a heart and a thumb if you comment, like, and subscribe on this video right now. Now, before I go, I had a couple other things I want to bring up. How long have we been going for? 45 goddamn minutes. Holy shit. Guess it's going to be an hour. It was meant to be half an hour. I didn't want to waste your time. But hopefully you're enjoying it. Okay. I'm going to have to cut a few things out of what I wanted to say. I'm going to skip over to something that's happened on Twitch this week. Now, look, I don't know if this podcast is going to be it's not necessarily a Twitch podcast, but of course, being a Twitch streamer myself, I think it'd be weird not to talk about things that happen on Twitch. If they're big enough. And this is maybe not saying, this is something that's happened on Twitch, but it's also something that's happened on YouTube. Maybe you guys have heard about it. And I'm going to talk about it as if I know what I'm talking about when I don't really know much about this subject. Because I haven't looked into it too much, just heard about it. But I'll give my quick opinion on it. Dr. Lupo. I haven't heard of him. No, I've heard of him. Dr. Lupo and TimTheTatman both left Twitch this week. Both left Twitch to move to YouTube gaming, the live stream gaming version of Twitch. Where they, you can stream on YouTube. Look, I thought about streaming on YouTube for a minute. We'll come back to that in a minute. We'll come back to Tim and Lupo in a minute. But I thought about streaming on Twitch for a minute. YouTube for a minute. I stream on Twitch. Twitch.tv/MattyAP. Go follow. I thought about streaming on YouTube for a minute. My views were low on Twitch. This was a couple of years back. And my views were low on Twitch. And I was like, man, maybe it's not the platform for me. Probably still isn't. But that's all right. We're chugging through. Thank you for my concurrent 22 viewers on Twitch. Appreciate you guys turning up every day. But I thought about it. I thought about moving to YouTube, and I sussed it out, and it was just confusing as shit. Thank God, because I probably would have moved to YouTube and then come crawling back to Twitch. But I found it very confusing. I don't know if it's changed, but you had to. It wasn't so easy just to set up a stream and go. I think it was there was a bit more on YouTube's end you had to do. That already kind of lost me, but man, the UI on that site. I haven't watched a YouTube stream in a minute. Other than the only one I have actually watched is Dr. Disrespect. I still jump in from time to time, but I find since he's been off Twitch, man, and this is what I'm going to go into about Lupo and Tim. I find since he's been off Twitch, Dr. Disrespect, I don't really watch him unless I'm scrolling through YouTube and I see he's live, and maybe I'll jump in for a few minutes, but I don't watch him like I used to. I used to watch Dr. Disrespect a decent bit when he was on Twitch. But I think the thing is, when you're on YouTube, you're scrolling, you're not necessarily looking for a live stream. That's the weird thing that I want to kick off, I guess, with my pros and cons about this whole situation with Lupo and TimTheTatman moving from Twitch to YouTube. Is that, I don't know, man. Like, I know a lot of people probably watch streams on YouTube. And first of all, I'll say that their move was definitely a massive positive thing for their lives, man. They obviously got paid out a massive bag for the move, guaranteed. I don't know how much it is. I don't know if the numbers come out. I don't think it will. I think that's probably going to be kept on the down low. And if it has, then I'd love to know how much. But I'd say it's got to be in the millions, dude. Oh, guaranteed, Matt. What are you talking about? Of course it's in the millions. Idiot. It's definitely in the millions. I mean, what did Ninja get? Ninja, I think, came out when he went back to Twitch and said it was millions. Can't remember how much. It was a crazy amount that he got paid to go to Mixer. I can imagine YouTube almost going a little harder. And they kind of have to, because TimTheTatman and Lupo had, they've got less subscribers or less followers, we'll say, for lack of confusion, on YouTube than they do followers on Twitch. On Twitch, I think they have millions. On YouTube, I think they have like million and a bit, or saying they might have a couple million. But was it a good move? I think I'm going to say straight up yes. I think the move for them was the right time for them. I think they've probably done all they can do on YouTube. I think I heard Devin Nash actually saying that I think, who was it? I don't know if it was him. someone said, that they've kind of explored all their avenues. They've been on Twitch for a long time. They've probably done what they can do, whereas maybe YouTube's going to offer up some new avenues for them. But the main thing is they're getting that bag, and I think go for it. I'm waiting for YouTube to approach me and say, Matt, here's the bag. Come move over to YouTube. My DMs are open. But the thing is that I remember not that long ago watching a Dr. Disrespect stream, or maybe it was a highlights package of his. I can't remember. I think it was live though. It might have been a highlights package because I don't really watch him much nowadays. Now he's on YouTube. But I remember him saying that I think it was a highlights. It was a highlights because he was talking about the fact that he's because Dr. Disrespect unfortunately didn't get it wasn't a nice way of going off Twitch. Most of you guys would know, maybe you don't, that Dr. Disrespect got banned off Twitch. He was one of the biggest streamers on Twitch, and he got banned just randomly out of the blue. No one knows why. He apparently knows. No one knows, but the whole thing is that he has said openly now on his stream on YouTube that he is going to be suing Twitch. So obviously there's some shit going on, and it will come out eventually. But he has said that since he's moved to YouTube, that his revenue has been down. His revenue's been lower. It just has. And the views, I believe he's saying, has been lower. But I don't know. I feel like when I see him, he's got 20 plus usually viewers. Okay, 20 plus K viewers, let's be real. So I feel like the view thing, I think he's doing fine. I feel like he's hardcore fans have followed him, and he's probably picked up some new fans, maybe a different base, since he's been on YouTube. But I think I believe it when he says that his revenues maybe been a little lower. I believe it, man. I totally believe that shit. But that's the thing, man. So with that knowledge, Tim and Dr. Lupo going to Twitch, I think they've got to be prepared that their revenue is going to be a little lower. But by the sounds of it, so this is what I think Dr. Lupo said, maybe even TimTheTatman, but I believe I heard, look, this isn't verbatim, I think is the word, but I believe Dr. Lupo said this is setting him and his family up for life. The amount that they paid him to move to YouTube, the amount YouTube paid him. So by the sounds of it, they're hooked up whether they make good revenue from here on out. You know what I mean? It'll be interesting. There's a lot of like ripple effects, I guess, from this. Obviously, the whole thing is like how is Twitch going to handle it? I believe Twitch had a message for one of them. Shit, I should have done my research. I remember just seeing it. I should have kind of pulled it up. But Twitch did write a message. It was for either Lupo or Tim. It might have been both. But they said it was a very nice, like, hey, sorry, it's been so lovely seeing you grow on Twitch, and we look forward to seeing you where your journey takes you further. But I don't know, it's kind of some shit, some kind of like playing the good guy. Twitch is playing the good guy, like, sorry to see you go, we miss you already, kind of shit. But they'll kind of also at the same time like, damn, we lost another one. Although it's funny because they with Dr. Disrespect, they that was a forced loss. That was a forced loss. They kicked him off. The speculation is that someone like Nick Merckx might be going next. That and he has mentioned on his stream, I did see something where he was very cryptic in saying that he's doing what's right for his family and blah blah blah. And it makes it sound like you haven't heard it here first. People have been talking about it, but potentially he'll be moving as well. I believe it. If I had to put money on it, I'd say he's moving to YouTube as well. And then it's kind of like, well, that's 3 for 3, man. How many more are they going to snatch over at YouTube? Do I think this is going to change much in the landscape of gaming and live streaming? I think taking 3 big streamers, I don't know, man. I don't think it will. I don't know if it will. We didn't see it happen when they took when Mixer took Ninja and Shroud. We didn't see much happen, and Mixer went under. And that's not because I can't put Mixer and YouTube in the same boat. I think YouTube is definitely more established. And I think people are saying, if YouTube can figure out their UI, their confusing UI, maybe make it. I think honestly, YouTube needs to separate their streaming to almost have a different app, like almost YouTube Live as a separate app or a separate website that's very easy to navigate to from YouTube. Because people that watch live shit, they're turning up to watch some live shit. They ain't kind of looking for they're not kind of going, let's watch a few 5-minute videos and here's a infinite 12-hour live stream to watch. Like, it's just not the same market. So I feel like it needs to be separated, and also just easier to navigate. I think Twitch is very easy to navigate to what you want. Which game do you want to watch? Who do you want to watch? Whereas YouTube's a little bit confusing in my opinion. And maybe I'm a boomer, but I think I've heard that from more than boomery people. So it'll be interesting. It'll be interesting to see. People are speculating Twitch is kind of coming to an end. I have felt at times that maybe Twitch could be. Man, I don't know. I've heard Twitch is at a loss. I don't know if that's still the case. I heard Twitch was losing money on, or Amazon, I should say, is losing money with Twitch. I find that very hard to believe with all the subs and subscriptions, man. I feel like, I don't know. I kind of find that hard to believe, but maybe not. I'm kind of thinking, how much do they probably make a year? Twitch, I mean, it'd be crazy amounts. I mean, like, the amount they pocket off bits and Twitch subs when they're taking 50% of all sub revenue. I mean, shit, man. Some subs alone, some streamers alone are making some crazy bank. So I feel like you take all of that. I don't know, man. Don't feel like they have a crazy, list of employees working there, but maybe they do. Maybe they have more going on than I think. I guess all the servers and everything. I don't know. But to me, I'm kind of like, how are they at a loss? It's kind of hard to believe. But by the sounds of it, they're not making enough to make it overly worth it for Amazon. And I feel like people are speculating that Twitch could be in a little bit of trouble. Would I care if Twitch went under? I think that's what this whole podcast is kind of coming to. Do I care if Twitch goes under? I do. I don't want to see them being the next Mixer. I really hope that they can figure their shit out and kind of work their way up. And here's my final say on the whole streamers moving to other platforms. Good. I think it's a good thing. It's a little scary, because it's like, oof, changing the landscape. But you don't want to see any brand or any platform have a monopoly of anything. You know what I mean? I think Twitch has kind of been monopolizing live streaming, or at least the gaming live streaming space for a long time. And I kind of worry with that, because without competition, there's no without competition, there's companies don't really try and progress. They kind of get a little stagnant, they don't have to appease their customers because they where else are you going to go, and that's, I think, how Twitch has kind of been looking at all their kind of dramas and stuff. It's like, they try and act like they're helping a bit, and I'm sure they try and do their best, but they definitely don't. I don't think they have a fire under their ass just yet to get things done. And I think that's kind of one of the things, is hopefully with YouTube trying to, obviously YouTube wants to step their game up. They're paying big bags to get some of Twitch's biggest, and it's got to be big to move these Twitch's biggest streamers over to their platform. So obviously YouTube's wanting to put in work. Obviously YouTube wants to make their platform bigger than Twitch. So that means there's some competition really coming up now, and Twitch must be feeling a little bit of that, which is good, because I feel like that is where we're going to see some growth on Twitch as well, in terms of them improving the platform and doing what they can to make it better. But that's the whole thing. We saw growth on Twitch when Mixer started poaching streamers like Ninja and Shroud. So I'm hoping this is good just for us as the consumers and the streamers and the performers. You know what I mean? So let's hope. That's my little. I guess that's my little talk on it. I don't know the ins and outs of the the deals between Lupo and Tim and YouTube and all that, but I guess that's just my kind of thoughts on kind of the whole thing. And at the end of the day, my final kind of thought on it is that it can only be good for us. It can only be good for us. Now, this has gone for an hour. So I think I'm going to wrap it up. I would have liked to cover a bit more than I did. Lesson learned. Don't ramble about vaccines for the first half an hour of the podcast. But hopefully you've enjoyed it. I've had a lot of fun. I've had a hell of a lot of fun, man. And anything we didn't cover today, I'm sure we can cover next week as well, along with maybe some other stuff that's happened during the week. But I've had a lot of fun doing this first podcast. I feel like it's been very natural, to be honest. I feel like it's been comfortable. You guys made a very comfortable return to the MattyAP podcast. Will I feel as comfortable when I upload it and see the views rolling and or not rolling in? Maybe not. So hopefully you guys enjoy it. If you did enjoy this first episode of the MattyAP podcast, or returning episode, episode 22, let me know. Let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear, your thoughts on anything I've talked about today. I'd love to get a little discussion. I'll comment back. You guys know I love to. But also, let's love to know what you guys think of the return of the podcast. Is this a great format? Do you guys like to just the talking for a bit? Have you been working? How's your work going? Have you been getting shit done while I've been rambling in your ears? Let me know. This could also be a good podcast for maybe when you go to sleep. I listen to podcasts when I go to sleep. It helps me kind of switch off about the things I'm thinking about, think about the things that someone else is thinking about, So maybe this is good, when you go to sleep. Hopefully it relaxes you. I'm definitely not going to be as high key as when I'm streaming. I think when I stream, I'm a bit more energetic because of the fact that I feed off the audience, you guys. I see the chat. You guys are like, oh my God, the Lord and Savior MattyAP is here. No one ever says that, but why not? But it gets me going, it gets me hyped. I think these podcasts are great because I can sit back. I feel like I can just chat and say what I feel like and what's on my mind. And hopefully you guys just enjoy the rambles. But this will be hopefully a weekly thing every Monday. I figure Monday is a good time to post it up. Record them on Sunday, put them up on Monday, and that way you guys have a week. You can listen to them through your work week or whatever you're doing through the week. So hopefully it's a good format. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed this first 20-second episode, season 2. Let's say season 2 of the MattyAP podcast, and I'll catch you guys, of course, as per usual, on the flippy flop. Goodbye. Have a great week. Jesus, I need a pee so bad. Now they're all gone. What are you still doing here? All right, anyway, I'm going to turn everything off.